you've ever taken a physics course, chances are you've come across the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. You've probably seen the famous formula in your textbooks. Delta x into delta p is greater than equal to h bar by 2. And you were likely given the standard definition. It is impossible to simultaneously measure both the precise position and the precise momentum of a particle with absolute certainty. Usually, this is explained with the classic story of measurement disturbance. Unlike classical observation, which passively reads a system without affecting it, quantum measurement actively interacts with a particle and fundamentally changes its state. But is that really what the equation is telling us? Is uncertainty just a limitation of our laboratory instruments, or is there a much deeper physical reality at play? In this video, we are going to go beyond the textbook definition and unravel the actual meaning of the uncertainty principle, starting with a simple experiment you could set up right at home with a laser pointer. Pointing a laser pointer at a wall, but placing a slide with an adjustable slit in the middle. When the slit is wide open, the light goes straight through and forms a neat, tiny dot on the wall. Simple, right? Because the photons are traveling strictly forward toward the screen without drifting up or down, their vertical momentum is practically zero. But where did each photon pass through the slit? Anywhere across that wide gap, so its vertical position is pretty vague. Now, what do you think happens if we squeeze that slit tighter and tighter? Your gut probably says the dot on the wall should get smaller and smaller, right? Let's try it. Look at the wall. It didn't shrink, it flared wide open into a broad beam across the room. The moment we forced the light into a tiny, precise vertical position, its photons started spraying upward and downward at sharp angles, meaning their vertical momentum suddenly exploded into a broad range of values. Why? It's not a broken laser, it's how waves naturally work. To see why, we have to look at the heart of the quantum world, probability. An electron or photon isn't a tiny marble with a fixed address. It's described by a wave called a wave function. If you square that wave, you get a probability curve, a shape that shows where the particle is most likely to show up. Think of it like rolling a die 1,000 times. The average value you expect to get is 3.5, that's the mean. But the actual rolls spread out around that average. How wide that spread is called the standard deviation. In quantum physics, uncertainty, delta x, isn't human error. It is literally the standard deviation, the natural spread, of that probability curve. If the curve is wide, the particle's actual location is wide open in reality. So how does momentum fit in? In physics, momentum depends entirely on wavelength. Think about a pure wave with one exact wavelength. It repeats continuously forever, with no start and no end. Because its probability wave is flat everywhere, you have zero idea where the particle is. A definite wavelength gives you exact momentum, but complete ignorance of position. So, how do you lock a particle down to one spot? You have to build a localized wave packet. To make a single localized spike out of smooth waves, you have to stack together dozens, hundreds, or thousands of waves with different wavelengths. They add up at one spot and cancel out everywhere else. But here's the catch. Since every wavelength means a different momentum, squeezing the position forces the particle to hold a wide mix of different momentums. Why do physicists always talk about the Gaussian function, the familiar bell curve? Out of all possible wave shapes in nature, the Gaussian wave packet is special because it represents the absolute smoothest, most balanced quantum state possible. It turns out that any arbitrary wave shape will have a larger uncertainty, but the Gaussian shape hits the absolute minimum trade-off allowed by quantum mechanics. Delta x into delta p equal to h bar by 2. Now, how do position and momentum actually talk to each other mathematically? Through a powerful tool called the Fourier transform. The Fourier transform is like a prism for waves. You feed in the particle's position wave function in spatial coordinates, and the transform breaks it down into all the individual wavelengths that make it up, giving you the momentum wave function. Because position and momentum are linked as a Fourier transform pair, squeezing the shape in position space automatically stretches its Fourier transform in momentum space. What if we demand 100% perfection in position? We squeeze the position bell curve down to a single point. In math, this infinitely sharp spike is called a Dirac delta function. It's zero everywhere except at one exact spot. If you convert that sharp spike into momentum using a Fourier transform, what happens? The momentum curve becomes completely flat. A flat line means every possible momentum value is equally likely. By making position uncertainty zero, momentum uncertainty shoots to infinity. And guess what? This isn't even unique to quantum physics. It happens in sound every day. Can you have a sound effect that lasts for a tiny fraction of a millisecond and has a clear, recognizable musical pitch? No way! A clear pitch needs time to complete its wave cycles. Time and pitch are linked, just like position and momentum. In fact, position and momentum are just one famous example. In quantum mechanics, any two variables linked by a Fourier transform or non-commuting operators share an uncertainty relation. For instance, there is a time-energy uncertainty principle delta E into delta t greater than or equal to h bar by 2, as well as uncertainty relations between different components of angular momentum. Wherever waves and probability exist, uncertainty follows. So, the next time someone tells you that the uncertainty principle is just about bad equipment knocking particles around, you can set them straight. Particles aren't hiding their exact location. They are probability waves. Whether we look at a smooth bell curve or an extreme spike, the trade-off is built into the geometry of nature.